Hello friends, in today's video we'll be talking about basic data types available in C and C++ programming language. So first of all we try to understand what is the meaning of data type or what is the use of data type. So data type is basically used to give the meaning to the variable or the identifier. Now we might have question in our mind that what we mean by meaning to variable and identifier. So let's take one example. Suppose you are asking to your friend that you want a box. So what your friend will give you? You are just specifying a box. So your friend can give you a box of sweet. Your friend can give you a jewelry box, or your friend can give you a box to keep shoes. Because you have not specified and you have used generalized term box. So box doesn't contain any specific meaning. If you want a box to keep your shoes, you need to ask for shoes box. If you want to put a jewelry, then you are supposed to ask for box to put a jewelry. Or if you want a box containing a sweet, you need to specify that box of sweets. So here box is a generalized term, but the meaning to particular box will be given by term jewelry, shoes or sweet. In this manner, if we consider technically, whenever we declare a variable, suppose I am declaring a variable named as value. So when I use this term and I declare a variable, one memory will be created, and that particular memory can be named as value because I have used the name of that particular variable is value. So this is named as value, but it is not specified that this particular variable contains what. If we think technically, in our programming language, this particular variable can contain either a complete number. It can be complete number means any number like 10, 23, 765 or so. It can also capable enough to complete incomplete number like 23.45, 0.03 or any incomplete number. This box or this variable can also capable enough to store characters. So likewise, we have just declared a variable, but we have not given the meaning to the variable that this box is for what, whether it will store integer numbers or the complete numbers, or it is for incomplete numbers, or it is for characters. So this is not defined. So to define this, to give the meaning to the variable, we use data type. Now in C and C++ both are different type of data types available. So first is built-in type, or we can say it is basic fundamental data types. It is predefined, basically integral type, in that integer is there, character is there. In floating point or real type we have float, double and void. Now what do we mean by integral type? Means int stands for integer, means int is capable enough to handle all complete numbers, where char it is specifically for storing single character like single quote a, single quote z or p or q, like this type of character can be stored in char. Since it is being stored in the form of, or it can be represented in the form of numbers, ASCII numbers, it is there in integral type. Now what is there in floating point or real type? So it is float or double. So here it can capable enough to handle incomplete numbers or fractional numbers, so that it is there in floating point. Now the third one is void. Void means it is to represent valueless entities. We'll see all this in detail in this video. Second category is derived data types. Derived data type means all these are data types which are derived from the basic data types like array, function, pointer, reference. All these are considered to be derived data type which can be derived from the basic or fundamental types like integer, float and double. Next is user defined. These are the types which is being defined by user, means we are users, we are programmers, so we can able to define our own data type, which is known as user defined type, means structure, union, class, enum and type def. These are different user defined types. In today's video we will be talking only on built-in types. So what are the different built-in, or we can say basic or fundamental types? So the first of all, character. Character can be specified by char, and it is used for single character, like we can see on the screen that single quote A, single quote Z, single quote X, all characters are represented by single quotes. That's why all this character can be represented like this. Now when you declare any variable of character type, it will occupy 1 byte in the memory. 1 byte means it is 8 bits and the range is this. We'll see how this range is calculated in the later part of this video. Then after, in integer part, so integer has 3 variants: short integer, integer and long integer. To store small integer value we can have short integer, mediate value we can have integer, and if you want to store a big value which is complete number can be used within long integer. So all this integer part can be able to store only complete numbers. We can see complete numbers like 123, 7456 and likewise. Now if we talk about short integer, it will occupy 1 byte in the memory. If we take the example of int integer, it will take 2 bytes and long integer will take 4 bytes. According to the bytes occupied in the memory, you can able to see the range. If it is less number of bytes, range is limited. The bytes which are going to be increased, you can able to see the range is also going to be increased. Now next variant is float, double and long double. All three are for incomplete numbers, or we can say floating point numbers or fractional numbers. So fractional numbers you can see 12.34, 0.005, these are all fractional numbers. Now the size occupied by a float variable is 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes and long double occupies 10 bytes. And the last one is void. Now void, it is basically for valueless entities, and mostly it is being used in user defined function to represent return type or argument. When any function will not return anything, it can be represented by void. If any function is not taking any argument, it can be represented by void. Means void mean it is nothing, it is zero. So these are some built-in or basic data types. Now we just try to understand that how this data type can able to give the meaning to the variable. So for that, if we need to use the data type for declaring a variable, the syntax is data type and the variable name. Example is, suppose I need to declare one variable named as value. I am using int data type. So I am writing int value. The meaning is this variable value will occupy 2 bytes. Why 2 bytes? Because in this table you can see int, it will take 2 bytes. So that since this value variable is of integer type, it will occupy 2 bytes and it can able to store only complete numbers. If I declare char value, means now this value variable is being declared by character type, so it can able to store only single character values, and this size occupied by this value will be 1 byte. Now the same variable if I am declaring with the help of float, then it will capable enough to handle complete number or incomplete number, and it will occupy 4 bytes in the memory. Now if I write integer value equals to 12,367, it's a valid number. If I write character value equals to single quote s, so the value s will be stored in value. If I write float value equals to 23.56, then this fractional number will be stored in value variable. If I write float value equals to 10, Now you can see this is a complete number, but it can be represented like this in the memory. It is 10.00, like it is represented as fractional number. And then if I write integer value equals to 45.56, now since this value variable is decorated with int, then the meaning of int is only complete numbers, but you are giving one incomplete number to value, which is 45.56. So what will be the case here? So only 45 will be assigned to value, and this fractional part 0.56, this fractional part will be eliminated. So here we need to lose the fractional part, and the complete portion will be stored into value variable, which is 45. So this is how data type can give the meaning to the variable. According to the data type, a particular variable will occupy memory in the primary memory, and it can able to store the value. Now, how to calculate the range of a particular data type? We take one example. Suppose here short integer, we take the example of short integer. So short integer occupies 1 byte. 1 byte means how many bits? So it is 8 bits. Now here you can see I have represented 8 bits. So I have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. I have presented 8 different bits. Now out of 8 bits, 1 bit, or we can say leftmost bit, is considered to be signed bit. Signed bit, the meaning is it is used for sign, and it is basically used to represent whether the number is positive number or the negative number. So the first bit is specifying that whether the number is positive or negative. This is binary representation. Now remaining 7 bits are there to store the data. So out of 8, data can be stored using only 7 bits. 1 bit is reserved for sign. It specifies that whether it is positive or negative. Now each bit can contain either 0 or 1, because it is binary representation, that each bit can be either 0 or 1. Now if you want to identify that using that particular bits, how many numbers can be represented, how many unique numbers can be represented. So the equation we have is 2 raised to n. If we have 2 bits, we can able to handle 2 raised to 2 means 4 bits. So here the general equation is 2 raised to n, where n is number of bits. Now if we take 2 bits, then we can able to represent 2 raised to 2 means 4 numbers. How? Let's take example. So since we have taken 2 bits and each bit is either 0 or 1, so that we take 2 bits. So the first combination is both bits are 0. In the second possible value is the rightmost bit is 1 and the left bit is 0. The third possible combination is rightmost is 0 and the left is 1, and at last both bits are 1. So total we have these 4 possible combinations. So we can say that 4 unique numbers we can identify using the help of 2 bits. Likewise, if we have 3 bits, then we can able to represent 2 power 3 means 8 distinct numbers. How? So here you can see that first of all 3's are 0, then 001, 010, 011, and likewise these are 8 different or distinct numbers which can be represented using 3 bits. So in our case, short integer occupies 8 bits. So as per the rule of 2 raised to n, 2 raised to n, here bits are 8. So 2 raised to 8 means we can able to represent 256 different or distinct numbers. But out of 8 bits, 1 bit is used for sign and only 7 bits are used to store the data. So using 7 bit, we can represent 2 raised to 7 equals to 128 numbers. So 7 bits, total 128 numbers can be represented starting from 0 to the number 128. So now if we have first sign bit, we have discussed here that the first 1 bit is stored or reserved for sign. So if your sign bit is 1 means it's a negative number, and remaining 7 bits we can able to represent 128 numbers, means the number possible are minus 128 to minus 1, because sign bit is considered as 1. So all are negative numbers, so it is minus 128 to minus 1. Now if your sign bit is 0, then numbers represented are positive. So it is ranging from 0 to 127, because total numbers are 128. So 0 to 127. Now if we put these two together, so we can able to get the full range, that is starting from minus 128 to 127. So the total range is minus 128 to 127. This is total 256 distinct numbers. So by using this mechanism we can able to get the range. Now take one another example to make it more clear. Suppose we take the example of integer. Now integer occupies 2 bytes, means 16 bits will be there. So total number which can be represented using 16 bit is 65,536. But out of 16 bits, 1 bit is reserved for sign. It represents whether the number is positive or negative, and remaining 15 bits are to store the data. So total using 15 bits we can able to handle, or we can able to generate maximum number is 32767. So when sign bit is 1, it means it is negative. So the range we can able to get is minus 32768 to minus 1. And when my sign bit is 0, it's positive number. So the range is 0 to 32767. So if we put all this together, so we can able to get the range, that is minus 32768 to 32767. Totally 65,536 numbers can be there in the range of integer. So this is how you can able to calculate the range of any particular data type. Now there are some modifiers along with the data type is possible, that is signed and unsigned. Now what we mean by signed? So signed number means it can contain positive number or the negative number. Signed number means, for example, you can see if I write 345. So generally in practice, when I used to speak or when I used to write 345, by default we assume that it is positive number. We need not to put sign plus over there. But if we need to specify explicitly a negative number, then I need to put a sign minus or hyphen 78. So it represents that it is minus 78 or minus 2347. So signed number means it can accommodate positive number as well as negative number. But in this case, to represent a negative number, there should be explicitly sign to be used. Now in the case of unsigned number means it only contains positive numbers, because in this case no sign bit is reserved. All the bits will be saved or will be used for representation of the data. So unsigned will not be using any sign, means that all values are by default positive, because to represent a negative number we need to put explicit sign. But this is named as unsigned. We are not using any sign, so that by default these are considered to be positive numbers. So example is 89, 5678. Now in this case, if we take the example of unsigned integer, then all 16 bits are used to store the data, because we don't have any sign bit. So total number can be represented is 2 raised to 16, which is 65,536. Now if we represent this range in binary, we can see that all 16 bits are 0 to all 16 bits are 1. So it means the range is 0 to 65535. Total 65536 numbers. So this is the meaning we can put, or along with the data type we can write integer. So by default if I write integer, it is signed integer. If I need to use unsigned integer, I need to explicitly write unsigned integer a. But if I write integer a, it is by default signed integer, means capable enough to handle positive number as well as negative number. So this is, we have discussed about basic or fundamental types of C or C++ data types, and I hope that you understood the concept. Thank you for watching. If you have any query, you can write to shikshansetu@gmail.com. Thank you.